Hello, this is Jason Mundragon. Welcome to my podcast Universal Consciousness, where I'm taking on everything in the universe and making it comprehensible to the collective consciousness. In this episode I will be discussing the emergence of what we term the One God, while simultaneously enlightening us to realizations of the multiverse. The hardest obstacle for us during this time period were the misconceptions and misinterpretations as consciousness attempted to break through to evolve. But then there were many hindrances to a lot for free thinking, something we have less of a burden now here in the new world. And so, let's get started. The emergence of the One God was not by chance. Many that would self-enlighten would touch something deep within that could not be explained within the Middle Eastern territories. This is where the true struggle to destroy the heaviest bulk of the root races were, as all associated with the outer universe sought to bind consciousness and manipulate intelligence. The Holy Alliance was caught in a harsh position. They were commanded to protect those of Earth's evolution, now merged with water's evolution, yet as consciousness faded, they were being forgotten and, in most cases, demonized. Which continues to be the struggle of the Archangel Michael and the Holy Hierarchy. They among all others know that we are to become the bridgeway to the higher orders, and at times see these periods of corruption as a failure to their commitment to protect us. Mesopotamia beliefs would give birth to Egyptian polytheism as the remaining Anunnaki's numbers dwindled. There was a continued monotheist/polytheist belief structure that would never last long enough to hold the generations as dark beings grasped at control of the souls. Yet through these struggles Mesopotamia also gave birth to a second belief in the Canaanite. I will not go into specific names in this book, only know the Canaanite was of the fifth root race, a sub-race blended from the Egyptian and Hellenes, which were Greek and Romans. The conceptualization of the One God was a misperceived awakening to our oneness with the universe. The Pleiadians spoken of earlier, the evolved white magi, would seek to intervene on behalf of the Holy Hierarchy, yet their presence was also misperceived. They connected to the righteous beings through the astral planes and developed relationships with individuals capable, though poorly, of comprehending. They traveled in what we have named the Merkabah, but this was so much more. There are many literatures of what the Merkabah was. I know now that the truth is beginning to come to light but hasn't fully connected universal truth yet. Bear with my build-up to help this progress. As consciousness grows, we gain complete control over the dominions in which we reside. If we could see this through conscious vision, we will lay witness to a glow surrounding these beings. Awakened beings will be seen as a single light ray pouring in from their crown chakra. This will come and go as they are still in temporary transitioning and is seen mainly in meditation or while maintaining consciousness. Greater beings have surpassed this and are in complete connection with this light, as it now will encompass the whole of their head region and quite easily bring its blessings to any in their presence. There are stages to this and will be explained in further audio. At the final stage of greater being status, the light body will begin to form. Although seen as an intense light, the conscious vision will see an actual shape should they see past the glare. This shape will be of a diamond, or better put, a pyramid on the top and an upside pyramid connecting the bottom seen in the first picture. These are the energies gathering from two sources. Though this energy is strongest seen originating from top as bright luminescence, it does in fact have softer radiances from the 5 other points. These two pyramid shapes also oscillate, but when complete alignment will begin to rotate in opposite directions as the astral form moves throughout the universe. The points directly connect the aspirant to all that they are aware of within the known universe, much like building blocks that will grow as they do. Each point connects to different colors of energy, in association to their evolutionary track in the universe. At the height of this, the pyramid will rotate at blinding speed, giving to us what we have witnessed, the rainbow body. When these beings are stationary, however, there will be an intense array of colors at each point corresponding to their elements. As a side note, the Dark Magi manufactured this in the construction of the Great Pyramids, though originally designed to advance our consciousness. When left by the builders, the Dark Magi contorted its use to feed off it while hosting their semi-immortal souls. When the Emerald tablets speak of the Merkabah residing under the pyramids, the pyramid is anchored within the physical realm, but manifest much like the diamond shape in the spiritual realm. Little has been done to stop this, for many see greater dangers in the horizon, and the Dark Magi slumber for ages at a time. I will refer to the Black Magi as the Dark Magi for now on. There will be further explanations to this later. The diagrams I have presented so far throughout these two books, when speaking of planes, dimensions, and realms, I represent as a 2D shape of diamonds. However, their true form should be realized as that of higher dimensions. Look and understand the difference in the center picture. Understanding this will grant us the truth to the universe of which we were delivered into. Know that this is only our current limitations. Far above primordial, lower, and higher realms there resides much more. But realize that these planes connect in ways far beyond our current comprehension. This is how it can be explained now. A being whose evolution stems from earth and water will, should they attain greater being status, will encompass the elements from which they were derived from, all wrapped in that of which they are connected. For us, this will be the four elements. Straight above us will pour our alliance either from source of consciousness, white light, or universal mind, whisper blue. The merging of our evolutions gave to us the unique ability to blend the two and merge with the plane of light in the centermost top plane. Something that all of the beings within this graph never possessed, for each elemental plane does not connect to the light plane, and all are blocked by the dark plane. True evolution found a way around this in our creation. When understanding that the diamond shapes are of three-dimensional depth, we can realize that they possess four sides and are blocks connected to one another on their vertical scales. Going back to the rainbow body, we now can understand that the colors from the side points of the diamond are in association with the four elemental colors and are where this consciousness derived. Beings that derive from other positions on the planes will possess completely different hues. Elemental beings mainly possess the hue primarily associated with their home plane, but on occasions can through varied experiences advance their consciousness and will forever have that new knowledge blended in their etheric forms. This is what perfected, greater, and at times true clairvoyants see when they look at all other beings, and the reason why they are able to better diagnose our true destiny should they wish to impart it. In addition, it would take the most sacred of knowledge and ability to hide your true hue from these conscious beings. It is reserved for perfected and above and enacted generally when these beings reincarnate, incarnate, and sometimes manifest to move about the universe. This can only be hidden from beings of lower status. When the Pleiadians presented themselves to the Canaanites, we must understand that they were of the early Atlantean root race when they were called the White Magi. Water and earth was all they were associated with. Their etheric forms looked sharp in various areas and symbolically looked very much like a star. This star would herald forth a religion that would have lasting impact on us for generations. This star I present to you in new realization, for none can speak of its heritage and the sacred doctrines keep it hidden, the Star of David. Judaism would expand into many different religions, some accepting the truth to the Pleiadians, star beings, others hiding it away or making it the hardest to have access to. Judaism gave birth to Christianity, Gnosticism, and the Kabbalah. Islam would later form and would be last born from these roots with spiritual intentional growth. Kabbalah and the later forming Sufism and Baha'ism would be considered higher mysticism that would dwell on the deeper meanings given from the Pleiadians. They held on to the writings passed down to them and sought to always find meaning to what was said. Christianity would go through a time of corruption just before the time of the mystic and attempt to wipe this awareness from the face of the earth through the Inquisition. The truth to the Inquisition I have briefed within the first book. The event had very little to do with what they thought of as God. It was a breaking of an agreement between Lucifer and the dark beings. Lucifer was growing exponentially with his false religions and was taking from the Dark One's followings among the corrupted pagan societies. In any event, new semi-conscious/semi-intelligent concepts would form. The mystic would arise while at the same time theosophy would come forth as they would attempt to blend religion and science, offshoots of the earth's and water's evolution. They would bring to the world scientific methods, quantum mechanics, and anthroposophy. This brings us into the 20th century from the depths of Middle Eastern generations. There are much more to learn within these eras, but all things have their place. This episode alone will present most of my material for the third series to come. I have already touched earlier in this series on Gnosticism and the Book of Enoch. Consciousness was awakened when witnessing the Merkabah, but just as far as current consciousness could perceive it. The Star of David had many great representations and meanings. Yet if we could realize it in its multidimensional form, we would realize what we've lacked the most, the truth of the multiverse. The multiverse. As we gently fall to sleep at night, our consciousness withdraws from this plane and awakens to another. The dream realm is beyond our full comprehension. It is grander than our spacious conceptualizations, and more connected than we can physically conceive with our minds. But this does not mean that it is not capable of being grasped. Consciousness is unique in that it can expand the mind's capabilities. It can also hinder it as well. Grand masters of meditation are said to always be conscious, even while in a recuperative sleep-like state. Most of us are consumed in this sleep as we become purely reactive to the dreams that manifest. Bruises from falls, jerking awake as we fall back into the physical realm, and even events having impact on our daily lives emotionally and mentally are just examples. We believe this is our time to let go and unwind, to release our activities of the day. This mere thought allows for us to become subjugated to what dreams form throughout the night. These dreams have no direction, therefore will manifest many experiences that consciously we have chosen to avoid. Once awake, we are left with searching for meaning in these dreams but lack the complete consciousness to observe them fully. They are mostly fragmented and will eventually lead to more misconceptions, so we have decided to forget about them and recycle this scenario day after day. We would be best suited to give ourselves a direction if we are unable to maintain consciousness, so that the dream realm would be able to manifest choice experiences. To realize the dream realm is to realize it is where we once were before manifesting into the physical realm. There are multiple levels of realms that we had derived from, the physical only being the latest. So why would one wish to stay conscious while sleeping? So that we do not break the continuation of our experiences here within the physical realm. We are in essence only partly here, continuously attempting to be fully manifested. When we meet these grandmasters, it is their ability to be rooted in reality that shakes us to our core. They have fully accepted and do not run or hide in the dream realm. To be free from this manifested physical realm is to realize and fully accept it. This acceptance is not just a way that we can explain it away in our various definitions. It is the acceptance of the totality of the known universe in which we exist, both physically and spiritually. It is the acceptance that all that has been created upon this earth we have shaped. We have created life and death, we have created love and war, and we have created separation. All that has influenced and has infected our creative powers, does so through our acceptance. All that we have sought to ignore and free ourselves from, binds us to our misguided constructs of this world. Falling away into this dream realm, temporarily breaks our experience of this and further fragments us from the source of consciousness. The physical form is the extension of life's force expansion, it is the first spark that continuously collects information for the universal mind. But we are of consciousness, we direct how that matter is developed and manifested through this expansion. This acceptance does not take deep amounts of training, because we have evolved consciously. It just takes an awakening of what is. This does not happen instantly, but I suggest taking moments throughout your day to bring your attention fully present so that you can become aware of the multiple streams of thoughts being processed within your mind. Few awakened beings dream, even if science challenges this fact. The natural processes of the body must recuperate, this will always detail brain activity. I have brought us to understand our dual existence of mind/consciousness. This makes it easier to conceive that the universal mind will dutifully take on the tasks of recuperating the body, while consciousness lays witness to the events. We have conditioned ourselves to stay within our forms during this sleep cycle. Yet consciousness does not need this, it can simply be free to explore the universe unhindered. Meet with other awakened beings and strengthen the collective connection. There are a host of beings that reside without forms, many by choice as they oversee us and stay absorbed in enlightened states around the planet. They primarily protect us from outer forces, we here on Earth are responsible for what has already gotten through beforehand. For greater beings had to first develop, during this time those corruptors had already merged into our physical world and taken hold of our reality. This corruption has existed far too long. Just by our awakening alone we can cleanse the planet. I have brought forth understanding of the third dimension and the fourth dimension by the shapes of the planes in which we exist. In the first book I presented them as a drawing of a diamond, in the second book I advanced this and gave depth to this diamond, presenting it in an 8-sided viewpoint. It has the ability to go farther than this by far, but this will become the basis of how we understand the multiverse in which we exist. Know now that from each of these 8 sides we manifest an alternate reality in connection to the other planes which may have influence. When showing the picture of Pleiadian forms that I brought forth in the 4th and 5th pictures we can take this understanding further. This will be a basis for what I will continue to bring forward throughout this many episodes as I seek to give to us a full realization to the multiverse. The plane of mind and spirit repeats itself as it advances into higher consciousness, thus forming a full diamond shape, which we should conceive as a diamond or 2 opposing pyramids. This is what we are currently manifesting into. This is not fully developed and so it is presented as a half. Those initiating in Earth's evolution will first form spirit and then mind on the right. Those initiating in water's evolution will first form mind and then spirit on the left. Hence growing around the plane of dark, which is intended to succeed it. They will manifest different realizations and thus relative realities. Those of water's evolution have already created a reality/plane in Eastern thought, not to be confused with Hinduism, which manifests from physical to the spiritual plane. This is well documented but cannot be fully established. It is known as being levels of physical in forms. These are 1. Devagati, the realm of devas, gods, and heavenly beings. 2. Asuragati, the realm of asura, titans. 3. Pretagati, the realm of hungry ghosts. 4. Narakagati, the hell realm. 5. Tyriagyonigati, the animal realm. 6. Manusyagati, the human realm. These realms all reside within physical aspects and are known to be still physical in formation, thus not spiritual in nature. On this path only true liberation will allow us access beyond the physical world. Beings have cycled these realms relentlessly once they have chosen this path, or better said, reality. These realms will continue to manifest until a full capacity of the collective accepts it, then it will become a plane. Only true liberation will know absolute reality on this path. The conflict behind this Eastern thought, and many other schools of thought, not fully manifesting is due to Earth's evolution establishing itself here and bringing forth new consciousness. This is not to say that either evolution is wrong, it's just to add understanding to why such in-depth wisdom had never taken collective roots. As consciousness continues to instill us with new insights, we branch off and are responsible for many past branches to be severed. We lose our collective consciousness and thus fragment our connection to this continuity to the one original stream. Considering Earth's evolution within our own forming plane of spirit, this is maintained primarily by those greater beings that have gained this consciousness. It suffers as we collectively fragment our beliefs and views of the physical realm. The reason to establish universal consciousness is to combine all these branches into a singular reality and repair all higher planes. This will collectively manifest a single reality for both Earth's and water's evolution, moving both forward in unity. I have witnessed those who have passed and lie in wait within their graves for the second coming or other beliefs due to their accepted reality of this. Depending upon this belief, they can spend hundreds of years here oblivious to the evolving world. I myself have laid within Egypt for centuries only to be awakened through discovery shortly after World War II. I speak of this, but we must come to understand that the I to which I refer to was just a fragment of the totality of what I know to be my I. This concept of my I still existed simultaneously throughout existence. This portion of my I was just the greater amassing of my consciousness. This will be further understood, for it is something that mystics have not conveyed. I will bring the reasons to this to bear. We have yet to find a collective realization to the afterlife. It directly points to our need for unification and to call out any misconceptions that have hindered us. Should we decide that heaven is our destination, it should include all the freedoms that was spoken of by the greater beings which sought to give us these truths. Otherwise, we are left in pockets of realities that never solidify. One may say that ignorance is bliss, yet the truth is that it has produced a world where we no longer have a stake in choosing our spiritual evolution. In considering the multiverse, we must understand that many ancient writings were dependent upon the author's stability to the physical realm. Greater beings can exist within multiple realities. Some of what was relayed to us could have easily been from a different reality. These writings still serve as a bridgeway for those awakened enough to comprehend, but will add confusion to a being still struggling to realize a single reality. Those of us who have read ancient doctrines and felt lost or confused at one time understand this. Later in life, when given the opportunity to reread them, they fully grasp them. They realize that they have evolved to finally comprehend the work. These writings on many occasions were written in obscurities because of the host of enemies around these periods seeking to take hold of our current philosophies and corrupt their teachings. The pure beauty of some of these most ancient writings is that they are instilled with the intent to manifest realizations to conscious beings ripened to receive their truths. They survive because of the greater beings that realize their true worth. When we come to these understandings, we realize that much of our occult teachings were in fact our collective relative reality of the time. In this reality, magic was quite real and easily manifested. Anyone who has walked the ancient forests of Ireland and noticed the fairy rings or fully grasped the Egyptian pyramids with their hieroglyphs, magic spells, adorning most walls can attest to this. But since these are the remnants of the overland understandings and have been corrupted by those seeking to fuel a false narrative, new generations are fed what is taught. This manifests a different relative reality, a one where giants, fairy folk, and even possessions never existed. These relative realities will never fully manifest unless they can gain collective consensus. In the meantime, all these entities can continue their corruptions as we lay asleep and oblivious to them. The absolute reality is continuously reawakening as those of us from the collective consciousness are reincarnating here in Earth's evolution. I speak of realities because I wish to bring us to the complete realizations that we are responsible for them. As we are either manipulated or solely responsible, they are both manifested through our creative powers. There is just the singular absolute reality, and all others are a manifested reality that we have directed. I say this with a sincerity that may break many of our concepts, but the multiverse is also of our creation. Any alternate dimensions or realities in which we search for will manifest, they will be reflective of the universe to which we comprehend. We have hinted to this when we uncovered the observer effect in quantum physics, however we still haven't fully realized our creative powers yet. We have already created many realities, in our groups, in our civilizations, in our beliefs, and on our planet. They grow and cease continuously because they do not have the foundations of the absolute reality. Those portions that do, have persisted. The multiverse is an advanced way of comprehending the many planes of which we exist. The decisions to which we travel segregated and as a unit. Should we develop a multidimensional understanding, the absolute reality will still be. We would just fragment ourselves into experiencing relative realities. The movies to which we watch, our social life through the internet, the video games that we fall into. These are just examples of our desire to not see truth. It is true that we can perform these tasks while maintaining truth, however, we would need to realize the truth first. It is through matter to which we achieve this. Spiritual beings have a tendency to avoid matter. Their paths may have reasoning, but we should understand that through matter we gain true realization. We have been led to believe for so long that both sides are oppositions, yet truth seeps out through the many ways we distract ourselves. We began from the source of consciousness, from realms to planes we are still manifesting into form. Once fully manifested, we can merge with the physical universe into higher planes of matter and freeing our consciousness from form. It is from this beginning from source which I will follow to the world of today. The multiple universes, realms, and dimensions that we have created will be brought back to this original stream of life. Many teachers have spoke of us elevating to higher consciousness and existing beyond form. Know that we exist simultaneously with our physical forms, as sure as the physical form is free to exist by itself, for both are individual evolutions working towards the same goal. This connection will persist once we evolve past matter and take on purer etheric, and then astral forms. When we uncover great civilizations that have completely disappeared, this was in fact what occurred on some of these events. This continues until the point comes where matter chooses their own path and we move forward into the higher planes. Just as the elementals held the hand of the greater elementals, and the greater held those of the higher elementals. We are this evolution that has persisted throughout beginning less time. The Great Awakening. Thank you. If you enjoyed my podcast, please consider helping my progress in any way. Please feel free to contact me, or subscribe, find me on my social networks, share, like, and of course any monetary assistance will be placed back into my work. I am a new author of just under a year and have really made my work completely within reach at just 99 cents on Amazon Kindle. The information is more important than anything, but everything helps in a collective way. Thank you again.